Hello everyone, it's Hilarious Q Bonehead back with you again for part 2 of our look at the historical inaccuracies of trivia about U.S. presidents, which is a long name. Last time we looked at the first half of the presidents, and today we'll give you more little known trivia that is completely untrue about the presidents of the past. So first we have Grover Cleveland. Now you may think, deja vu, I thought we had him already. Well, we did. He was both the 22nd president was named Grover Cleveland, and so was the 24th. It's a strange coincidence. Anyway, this Grover Cleveland was named after a city in Ohio. I believe it was Akron. Or maybe, no, it was Dayton. No, Cincinnati. That was it. Next we had William McKinley. He served 1897 to 1901. He discovered Mount McKinley and renamed it Denali after Denali State Park. Yes. After him we had Theodore Roosevelt in 1901 to 1909. He walked softly and carried a big stick. And if you look very closely, you'll notice that he probably bopped himself in the forehead just above the left eye a couple times with that big stick. Lesson learned, class. After him we had William Howard Taft, 1909 to 1913. And if you think real hard about his last name, you can imagine it as an anagram for fat. 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 Following President Taft, we had President Woodrow Wilson, 1913 to 1921. What's that you say? No, I got a haircut. It was blonde before? Yeah, I got a haircut. Well, anyway, getting back. You probably noticed that Woodrow is not a real name. And in fact, it was a nickname he got in college. He was on the crew team, and whenever they would go out on the boat to practice, he would row. And coming up next, we've got Warren G. Harding, 1921 to 1923. There was some scandal in his administration. What was it? Oh, yes. Someone in his cabinet stole all the White House tea kettle lids. Must have been someone in his kitchen cabinet. After him, we have Calvin Coolidge, 1923 to 29. His granddaughter Rita Coolidge was a pop singer in the 70s and 80s. Your love keeps lifting me higher than I ever been lifted before. And after him we had Herbert Hoover, 1929 to 33. Yes, we had a couple of illiterate presidents in the row there. Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover. This one was named after a vacuum cleaner. Then we had Franklin Roosevelt. Now, you remember what John Adams did when he changed his name to John Quincy Adams and then re-ran? Well, Theodore Roosevelt lost his bid for re-election in 1912, so he took a cue from John Adams, sat out for 20 years, changed his first name, shaved his mustache, and got rid of his glasses, and ran again, and he won! Lesson learned, class. After him, we had Harry S. Truman. The S didn't actually stand for anything. What? It's true, man. And then we had Dwight D. Eisenhower, 1953 to 1961. Dwight Eisenhower, that's assonance, class. Repetition of vowel sounds. Also seen, or heard rather, in I Like Ike, which is actually triple assonance if you think about it, or even if you don't. Plus internal rhyme. I like Ike. This man got elected because of poetry. After him, we had John Kennedy, president 1963 to 1961. He invented Kennedy Space Center and the Kennedy Center for the Arts. He also famously referred to himself as a jelly donut, something I also like to do from time to time. After him, we have Lyndon Johnson. You remember Andrew Johnson, Southern president in the turbulent mid to late 1860s? Well, then we had Lyndon Johnson, Southern president in the mid to late 1960s. Apparently this happens once every 100 years, so about 50 years from now you can look forward to that. And then we had Richard Milhous, and now we're getting close enough in current history for me to actually remember how they talked, because you started to see presidents on TV. He was named after one of Santa's reindeer. You know, Dasher and Dancer and Comet and Vixen, Prancer and Cupid and Johnson and Nixon. But do you recall? Me neither. This is Richard Milhous. That rhymes with White House. And that's where I'm coming to you. Let me say this about that. After him, we had Gerald Ford, 1974 to 77. Gerald Ford. He invented the assembly line, I believe, yes. And next we have James Earl Carter, or as people commonly called him, Jimmy-Carter. Jimmy-Carter. Say it with me. Jimmy-Carter. Jimmy-Carter. So after a 100-year gap between the two Johnsons, we had only 3 presidents later, another Southern president. How about that? And next we had Ronald Reagan, 1981 to 1989. The 80s were a strange time for food in the Oval Office, class. President Reagan tried to pass a law requiring all Americans to like jelly beans. And whenever Congress told him to just, you've already passed this once and we said no, he would be like, well, I just don't recall. And then he'd do it again and they'd say the same thing and he would be like, there you go again. After him, we had George Herbert Walker Bush, whose name almost is longer than his term in office. 1989 to 1993, he tried to outlaw broccoli. A lot of people were with him on that. He would say things like, when people asked him about the future of broccoli or if he was going to allow broccoli to continue to grow, he'd say things like, not gonna do, not gonna happen. Or, I see 1,000 points of light, little laser beams trade down on fields of broccoli. After him, we had Bill Clinton, president 1993 to 2001. 3 presidents after Jimmy Carter, we got another Southerner. All 3 of them were Democrats. If you ask me, there's some kind of conspiracy going on here. And then we had George W. Bush, and we're almost done since we're doing the historical presidents. Of course, we'll stop before the current. He got elected because his father was so popular from the broccoli thing. My friends call me W. And last but not least, we had Barack Obama. Barack Obama. Patio furniture. Our first Irish president. No, wait, that was McKinley. Our second Irish president. Oh, wait, was Kennedy Irish? Our third Irish president. Well, this has been Hilarious Q Bonehead, historian and jelly donut, presenting to you false ideas about the U.S. presidents for your enjoyment. So long.